everyone. Happy Monday. It's your girl, Janelle. Villiers. I am doing a 36-hour fast, so I'm feeling a bit loopy. So you're going to have to forgive me if I sound a little bit crazy or if something doesn't really make sense. But we're here anyway. So for some people, it's a mindful Monday. For other people, it's a motivation Monday. But if you're with me here on a Monday, you are here for the Other Side podcast. Welcome. I'm happy to have you here. If this is the first time that you're here, go ahead and put a 1 in the comment section so that way I know that this is your first time. I love to shout out all my first timers. Put a 2 in the comment section if this is not the first time. If you're watching the replay, love to say hello to all my returnees who are here for the journey. I love talking about all things books. I love talking about all things mental health, and that is what you're going to find here. Those are the 2 things that you will find here consistently on the Other Side podcast, and I'm really excited to be your host as we're all on this journey. I'm really excited because my book is launching next Monday, my bestseller, Write It, Publish It, Sell It. I'm really excited so that way you guys get your hands on this. This is the complete guide for aspiring authors. There it is. Woo, get excited. All right. And then those of you who've been seeing my social media, you know that on Monday and Tuesday, that's right, the April 14th and 15th, I am hosting a 3-day masterclass, the Write, Publish, Market, and Prosper Masterclass, where day 1, we're going to be workshopping. You're going to do some work. You're going to get some writing done. I know a lot of you have these books in your head and on your heart that you want to get out there, and I want to make sure that you can actually do that. I believe a book can change a life, and so I want to help you do that for your audiences that are going to read your book. And so day 2, I'm really excited because I'm going to have Melissa Diaz from Your Missing Piece Solutions, from Missing Piece Solutions. She is a book marketing expert. And I swear, every single time I have a conversation with her, I learn something new. And I am really excited for you guys to get in touch with her. She will be giving lots of gems on day 2. So make sure you stick around for both days. And for my lucky 10 of you registered early, my VIPs, shout out to all my VIPs, okay? Because you guys are on a Telegram group. We are chatting away. We're talking about different strategies, different tips, different mindset that you need to have to write the book. You're asking questions. I'm giving answers. You're getting a whole different side than everybody else is. So congratulations to you. You'll also be receiving a free signed copy of my book. So get ready to get that. I'm really excited for you guys. You guys are going to get some private time with Melissa on the 2-day masterclass. And we're going to be doing a bonus session the week after. So I'm really excited. Not just for everyone who registered, but for also my VIP people. This just goes to show you the next time I do one of these master classes, you got to register early. I want you to be a VIP. I want you to get the special treatment, but you got to register early. You got to be one of the first. So make sure you look out for that. To register, though, even if you're not part of the 10, I'm telling you, you're going to get a ton of value out of this masterclass. So make sure you register. It's all in the information below. Go ahead and do that now before you forget, like right now. Go do it right now. In the description below this, you will see it. There's a link to go ahead and register. And if you want the link sent directly to you, just comment book, like the word book, and I will find you. I will send you the link so that way you can go ahead and get registered. All right. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible, as painless as possible, so that way people can go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and get started with today's topic because it is very timely. We are going to be talking about I'm really glad we're going to be talking about this actually. How to start writing your book like a pro. Like really though, like what are the steps? What should we be doing? What should you know about that maybe some other people haven't talked to you about that you should know about in terms of writing your book? I'm sure if you had these steps, maybe you'd even start writing, right? But you don't have them. And so you're confused, and a confused mind does nothing. I want to make sure we change that for you. So first of all, these are some crucial preparation phase. Here is some things that you should do during the preparation phase that are really, really crucial that a lot of new authors skip. First is just finding audience clarity. And in order to get really clear on who your audience is, you need to do research. So you need to define who is your ideal reader with specificity, age, interests, reading habits. Study the reviews of comparable books to identify what are the reader expectations, like what are they looking out for a book that has the subject matter that yours has, right? This is really, really crucial. You can do this midway through. Like if you just have a point, if you have something that you really want to say, certainly go ahead and write it. I don't want to prevent you from writing, but at some point you're going to have to do this research. So you might as well start somewhere near the beginning. It'll be really helpful even as you progress. The other thing is you want to do some structured pre-planning. So create a framework. So many of you who have worked with me before, and if you come onto the masterclass, you're going to get one, but I have the JVP blueprint, the Janelle Villiers Partnerships blueprint for writing your book. It's the JVP book blueprint. And this gives you the framework that you need to write your book. You're defining the central problems, the promise. What are people going to take away from your book? What do you want the readers to take away? And you're establishing that blueprint really early on, so it becomes the guidepost that you can always come back to and like, oh yeah, this is what I want to make sure that my readers get. So let me make sure that what I'm writing right now actually gets back to these points. And then you want to create a success metric definition. This is actually really crucial. As I'm working with people, shout out to the VIP group, one of the things that we were talking about today is, what is your goal? What defines success for you? Is success a specific number of books sold? Is it measurable in that way? Or is it like, oh, now I'm just getting on a ton of podcasts, I'm getting all this exposure, I'm having really interesting conversations? For me, that's what it was when I wrote my first book. So you don't already know, I wrote a book called I Slept with a Married Man, Am I Still a Good Person? And with that one, the goal wasn't necessarily to sell like a ton of books. The goal was to just have these conversations, reach people, create impact. And so I was just trying to get out there as much as possible to get more and more people knowing about my books. That way we could read it and talk about what I knew God had told me he wanted me to have more conversations around. So to me, that was the success metric. It wasn't anything necessarily measurable in that case. It was just, I was just trying to have as many conversations as possible, right? So what is success to you? If you don't define that, then you're going to have a hard problem. You're going to have a hard time, I should say, trying to figure out what plan you want to create, because you don't even know what the goal is, right? So how are you going to plan something if you don't have a goal? There's a saying, and I forget who says it, but an arrow without a target misses its shot. This is what I'm talking about being delirious. Please excuse me. The quote is, an arrow without a target misses its target every single time. It's going to miss every single time because it doesn't have a target. So it's going to miss. We need to establish what success means to you. All right. The next step that you need to do is the next thing that I wanted to cover is actually real examples from best-selling authors. So best-selling author James Clear, he uses the question method. What he basically does, he does a lot of like how-to books. He basically begins by writing 25 questions that readers will have about the topic that he has. And then he groups related questions to form chapters, right? These become the foundations of his chapters. And then he starts writing by answering the most fundamental question first. That's how he starts, right? So he has a question method. Then we have Brandon Sanders, who is a fictional author. He has an approach where what he calls the character first approach, where he creates detailed character sheets with goals, flaws, growth arcs, all of that for each character. And then he writes a short day in the life scenes for each of the characters. That way he can create the voice for each of these characters. And then he develops the character interactions. What is that going to look like? He actually writes that out before he even starts plotting out the story, right? So he has a character first approach. So you can imagine his characters are probably really good. You're probably really into whatever it is that the characters are doing and whatever challenges they're facing. And then you have Elizabeth Gilbert. She has a joy-centered starting point. And I love actually hers. I certainly did it that way. But basically, you begin with the scene or topic that excites you the most. Not the beginning, not the end. You just start wherever it excites you and just start there. Write a letter to your reader explaining why this book matters. I did that too. That was like essentially my whole first chapter, or the whole first section of my book. I'm going to create a curiosity journal of questions that fascinate you about your topic. Love, love, love that way of starting a book. Okay, so now let's talk about some time-saving techniques that prevent major rewrites later. Number one, the chapter overview method. So write 1 paragraph summaries of each chapter before you actually start drafting your manuscript. And then you can actually test out the logic with readers who only get to see the summaries. So that's a really cool way to make sure that like the logic makes sense. And then you don't have to go back and do a ton of rewrites because you already know that in general, everything is going to make sense and work out. Okay, the second thing that you can do is get progressive feedback. So share your concept and your outline with your target readers early, super early, and then collect and incorporate their feedback before completing the manuscript. And then you can create like this checkpoint review where at 25%, 50%, and 75% completion, you can check in with your readers and see how they're feeling about it. We call this, for Say That Publishing, we use beta readers for this. We get beta readers to look at it when it's about 75% complete and give us their feedback, and have found this very, very helpful. And then the clarity first drafting system. So you write chapter goals and key points at the top of each drafting session. So every time you go to start writing, you basically write the chapter goals and the key points, and then begin each writing session by reviewing these anchors each time. And then each time you do a session, or each time you have a writing session, you end it by evaluating if you've maintained focus each time. So super, super helpful. Please let me know which one of those you're going to actually implement. I would love to know which one of those you're going to use. And then finally, common first draft mistakes and how to avoid them. Perfectionism paralysis. I have said this so many times. You just need to get going. Some people start as a word count goal. Some people start as a page goal. Some people do a time goal. Whatever it is, just like start. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's not what this is about. You just need to get the ideas and the words, get them out of your head and onto paper or onto the computer or whatever, so you can start the flow. But if you're thinking like every single thing that you write down or every single thing that you type out has to be perfect, you're going to not do anything. So I don't care if you have a word count goal for each time you start writing. I don't care if you have a time goal, a page goal, whatever your goal is, just start. Okay. Then you can also, another way to avoid mistakes is the research rabbit holes. So schedule separate sessions when you're researching versus writing. Don't make them like two different things, because then the time that you should be spending writing, then you're going to spend it researching, because you go down this rabbit hole of this like really cool concept that you've been researching. So just schedule separate times for that. And then also I would set a time limit for your research. Don't just make it be until whatever. No. Set a time. Like, I've only got 30 minutes a day to actually look at this, 20 minutes a day to actually look at this, whatever it is, but just set a goal. And then the other thing that many times new authors look over is inconsistent voice and tone. So what could be really helpful is if you create a style guide before starting, and then keep the voice the same for each of the different characters that you have going on. An example is one of my clients, Bren. Shout out, Bren, if you ever watch this. She has one character, and one or two characters, and they do not use conjunctions. So they don't say don't, they say do not. They don't say let's go. It would be let us go. Or they don't say can't, it is cannot, right? So no contractions. So whenever you know that you're speaking in this particular character's voice, you know that the way in which they speak, the way in which they speak, the tone, it's more urgent. It's for this particular character, for her book, it's more urgent. It's more driven by like a very dogged pursuit of something, right? So you kind of get that every single time that character comes up. You hear the tone, you hear the voice, you hear how they speak. And so it's very consistent throughout. And you just want to make sure that you are consistent and not inconsistent. It's really helpful. So just as a summary, I know we've talked about a lot, so I just want to make sure that you guys got it all down. So number one, what we talked about are some crucial preparation that can take place that most authors skip that you shouldn't. So do some audience clarity research. Define your ideal reader with real specificity, including age, interest, reading habits. Go study reviews of other comparable books to identify what the reader expectations are. Secondarily, you're going to look at structure pre-planning. So again, come to my masterclass, because I will be giving you the JVP book blueprints. This is going to give you the frameworks. That way you can start writing your book with clarity, establish exactly what you want to talk about, and make sure that your readers actually get the things that you want them to get from your book. And then define success. Yeah, do that before you start writing. What is success for you? Is it measurable? Is it the number of books? Is it speaking engagements? Is it courses? Is it just making an impact, creating more conversations like I had with my first book? What is it? Like, define what that is. That's super, super important. An arrow with no target misses all of its shots. Okay, so some real life examples that we looked at first from some best-selling authors is James Clear's question method. Begin by writing 25 questions readers will have, and then basically your chapters are the answers. Brendan Sanders' character first approach, where he basically creates these detailed sheets for each of his characters, growth arcs, where they're from, all these things. And he creates little scenes where the characters are interacting. What does that look like? So a lot of character development. And then Elizabeth Gilbert's joy-centered starting point, which I personally love, which is just begin with the scene or the topic that excites you the most. Doesn't have to be the beginning, guys. Doesn't even have to be the end. It could be wherever you want. Write a letter to your readers explaining why this book matters. There's the joy-centered approach to put there for you. Okay, so here are some time-saving techniques that prevent major rewrites later on. You want to use the chapter overview method, where you write one paragraph that summarizes each chapter, test it, see if it's flawed or not, ask other readers to take a look at it. You can do the progressive feedback approach, where you share the concepts and outline with target readers only, and then incorporate their feedback along the way. Then you can do the clarity first drafting method. So every single time you sit down, so go write during one of your sessions, you're going to write, what is the goal for this chapter? What are the key points? And this becomes like your true north. Every single time you're writing, you can come back and end the session and see, hey, did I actually stick really closely to my goals? Did I maintain the focus? Okay, and so here are some common first draft mistakes, and I want you to avoid them. So here's how to avoid them. Avoid the perfectionism paralysis. Just start writing. Make a word count. Make a word count goal. Make a time goal for how long you're going to write. Make a page goal for how many pages you're going to write each time you write. Just start writing. So set a goal, get it done, and it does not need to be perfect. Not perfect. Research rabbit holes. Don't get bogged down in research rabbit holes. Set time frames for how long you're going to be doing your research, and make it a completely separate time for when you're actually going to sit down and write. And then make sure you don't have inconsistent voice and tone. Make sure that when certain characters, certain people, when you're writing about a particular topic, that you have a certain voice and tone that's consistent throughout your book. So there you have it, my friends. Let me know which one of these tips you're going to use. I especially am interested in knowing if you're going to use any of the bestsellers, the real life bestseller authors and their methods. If you're going to use any of them, I would love to know which one you're going to use. Also, I am very interested to know in if you're going to use any of these, please let me know. Or if you're currently using one of these tips, let me know that too. I want to start engaging in conversation with you guys more often, so please do that. This has been great. As always, I love chatting with you guys. I find everything really helpful. I find it really helpful sharing these ideas with you, because then I can come back to my clients and continue to talk more about that. Don't forget to register for the 2-day masterclass event. I'm really excited for that. I will see you then, either on another Monday or at the masterclass. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Bye.